Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. Big, beautiful breastgasms. We put up a question in our Instagram stories this week asking women how they feel about their breasts. The responses ranged from love, hate, my favorite body part, way too small, grateful for them, they're perfect, they sag, I don't love them, they need a boost, I love them, I wish they were perkier, but that's okay, totally disconnected, I got implants from when I was young and totally regret it. I often feel like they don't belong to me or on my body for some reason. Now, these are all fascinating responses, but it's the last one that really hits me. And I think that's because of how I first felt when I was developing breasts, like, what are these? Will I be able to run as fast with them? I was a sprinter and a soccer player, so this was important. It also makes me think about how if I was born in this particular era and had even the slightest trepidation about my new and foreign emerging body, I might not be here right now talking to you about cervical orgasms and squirting on the regular. Because these days, another assumption gets made and another set of actions get taken. And this raises the broader question of embodiment. When we are modeled healthy examples of people around us, parents, family members, and what we see in the media, truly loving and owning what they've got, enjoying the body they were given, we absorb that. If our parents, and in this case our mothers, have unresolved issues around their sexuality, and let's face it, everyone does, it's only a matter of the degree of dissociation, then we'd be picking up that in the ethers and all around us, and it would be very difficult to fully grow into our bodies and feminine selves. Hint, 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 hint. And the same goes for men, but today we are talking about breasts. The truth is, in Taoist sexuality, breasts are considered to be the gateway to female orgasm. 6 energy meridian lines run through them, including the kidney, which is responsible for generating the waters of arousal. In MRI scans, breast stimulation lit up some similar, if not the same areas of the brain as when women were receiving G-spot and cervical stimulation. All women, according to the Anami guarantee, can have wild nipple-gasms and full breast-gasms. Yes, all women can. As with the full Orgasmopedia I talk about, the pathway to all orgasms is owning yourself, owning your body and your sexuality, and removing any blockages that are in the way of you living fully in that place. Contrary to what some people and spiritual paths might try to tell you, salvation is found in the pleasures of the body, not by denying them, but by going consciously, wildly, deeply into them. And this is such a fascinating concept to me that I'm going to do an entire different podcast episode on that. So over a decade of running my online salons has shown me how many women truly are disconnected from their breasts and feel like they don't own them. And this can be from all of the sexual projections and unwanted attention they receive onto them, starting at puberty when they barely have the chance to begin their own relationship with their breasts. And this also is reflected in the way that breasts are portrayed in movies, TV, and advertising, which tends to cheapen them and turn them into boobs rather than breasts. Even the act, the sacred act of breastfeeding, which, believe it or not, is the true purpose of breasts, is not just taboo, but it's become forbidden in many places, both publicly and even privately. So much shit gets laid upon it that now women have other projections and additional opinions thrown at them about their breasts. All of this increases the sense that they belong to other people and not the woman herself, and creates this barrier to them even even though they happen to live on her own body. And maybe it's because they're so visible, meaning we don't see the full tight outline of men's cocks in every piece of clothing they wear, or cock cleavage, then everyone knows what a woman is packing. Women become so disconnected from the breasts that they cut into them, they stuff plastic bags around them, or ultimately have them cut off because they themselves are so cut off from them. So the answer lies in reclaiming and owning the breasts, bringing them back to life to be expressions of an open heart. In the Taoist philosophy, they see breasts as an extension of the heart. So we want them to be sensitive, orgasmic, and act as the alchemizers of both toxins and emotions in the body. Breasts create one of the most wondrous substances in the world, breast milk. There is nothing more magical and nourishing than breast milk, the manna from heaven. And on a side note, did you know that breasts are so intelligent that when women are breastfeeding, the baby's saliva passes through the nipple to give information to the mother's body about what exactly the baby needs, what kinds of nutrients, maybe it needs something to address immunity, and then her body adjusts the composition of the milk accordingly. Breasts are brilliant. And yes, breasts are also mind-glowingly orgasmic. So how do you get there? Number 1, breast massage. I have been teaching breast massage in my salons for over a decade, and I am always amazed at the results and how fast women get them. 5 minutes a day in the shower is all it takes. You can certainly go for much longer, and when you realize how amazingly blissful it feels, you probably will. Breast massage resensitizes the breasts, moves and clears lymph and toxins, and awakens their pleasure potential. I teach full breast massage routines in both the Well-Fucked Woman Salon and in Vaginal Kung Fu. I formulated an orgasmic and organic breast massage oil just for this purpose, which you can find in the Anami Alchemy online shop, and it's called Breast Bliss. It's heavenly. I use it as a perfume. I just wear it. And as a face oil, actually, because there's hyaluronic acid in it. And I even put crystal elixirs into it to help you process all things emotional on your quest to breast love. Remember, what you focus on grows. Women have gained an extra cup size, as you'll hear in today's All-Star interviews, just from dedicated breast massage. Other women get firmer and more lifted, since not everybody wants a size increase. So number 2 suggestion would be go braless. Do it as much as you can. Bras in general, but especially the modern padded underwired versions, are like cages for the breasts. To really let them come alive, let your breasts be free. And this might seem like a big deal to go out in public without a bra, but I actually get a kick out of watching people freak out, seeing a little innocent nipple protruding through a shirt like it was the shark from Jaws. Oh my God, it's a nipple. I can't. Oh my God, what are we going to do? And men nearly jacking it right then and there over a nipple. Oh, what power we have. Enjoy it. It feels amazing to be braless. It feels to me like my breasts are sensory devices picking up information through the areola, and it's a way easier thing to do without a bra suffocating them. Number 3 suggestion, get your breasts in the sun. In Europe, it is amazing to see how many women are topless at the beach. And it's great to see all the different shapes and sizes of breasts. As you may well know, I am a huge proponent of sunlight, ranking up there with sexual medicine. I get my daily dose whenever, wherever I can, and also get my genital, breast and pussy exposed as much as possible. Check out my genital sunning video on my YouTube channel for more information on this. And lastly, incorporate them into your sexual repertoire. Breasts are often just a cursory stop on the way to the promised land of the vagina. Make them an overnight layover. Spend 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and even longer with them. Not only is this deep and epic foreplay, but you will open their potential, as I mentioned before, as a heart expander, a liberator of repressed emotions, and you will build your capacity for breast and nipple-gasms. And as an aside, the more sexual activity you have, and even a dose of a sexual encounter, increases breast size up to 25%. So that's not even necessarily stimulating the breasts, but imagine if you did and the results you would have. Today's Well-Fucked All-Stars share on how they went from numb and disconnected to radiant, cosmic, multi-orgasmic breast and nipple-gasms. So we've got 3 for you today because they all touch on different elements of owning the breasts and the tools that they use to get into these breast bliss experiences. So to kick it off, here is Amanda.
Well-Fucked All-Stars.
My entire sexual journey started with your work. I took both the Well-Fucked Woman and Vaginal Kung Fu, and so for me, it totally started with the Well-Fucked Woman, and actually the whole connection with my breasts I feel like was really the gateway to opening up the rest of my whole sexual experience. Basically by the end of doing your work, I totally became I went from never ever having an orgasm to becoming multi-orgasmic in a really short period of time, which completely surprised me because when I discovered your work, I just was not in a good place sexually. So I really didn't see how I could get there, but I definitely did. And for me, probably the biggest gateway was actually the relationship with my breasts, like regular dedicated breast massage, just as you recommend. It is really core to your work. That was kind of my first gateway to really beginning to feel sexual pleasure, which I hadn't felt in a long time. Just to give you a little insight into my life at that time, my husband and I were both working like crazy, going to school, all that stuff, and we had a really young son. And our sex life was basically at a standstill. It just was, there was nothing going on, really resentful, and it just was not good. So I knew that this was something that I needed to do. And I was just kind of how am I going to feel, this pleasure and stuff that she talked about? And like I said, for me, I think that the biggest gateway was definitely the breast. I actually started to feel pleasure by massaging my breasts really regularly and feeling that sense of self-love that you talk about. The breasts are representative of nurturing and all that and your own love for yourself. And it just really helped me to reflect on, I guess, how much self-love I was not giving myself, especially that time in my life, having a really young son, working so crazy. I was just completely and utterly depleted. So yeah, at that time in my life, when I think back to what my breasts, physically looked like, they looked exactly as depleted as I felt. They were super duper, super saggy, really small. They had shrunken actually a little bit. And when I started to do the breast massage and really, really intentional, really trying actively, to give myself that self-love, they completely changed. Their physical form actually changed as well. I actually said, cause you just, you kind of talk about the whole concept of infinite possibility and just really, really using your intention. So I was I'm going to grow my breasts, I'm going to grow them a whole size just to see. And they totally did. They got way fuller. They grew an entire cup size. And so that was, great on a physical level, but they just they actually started to feel pleasurable to me, which was really shocking because that was actually even earlier on in mine and my husband's relationship where we did have a decent sex life and I enjoyed it. I still didn't really want my breasts to be touched. That just wasn't a sexual part of my body, which is totally wrong. So also during this time, it was pretty soon after Vaginal Kung Fu, I became pregnant for my second pregnancy. And I was completely blown away. Like that was my second pregnancy was probably it is actually probably the most sexually powerful time in my whole life. Like I feel like I just desired myself kind of like a partner would. Like I totally fell in love like with myself and desired myself. And that was something that I absolutely did not feel in my first pregnancy. It was very, very disconnected the first time. So I feel like all of that work I had done, the previous like 9 months or whatever it was, just like I was activated, just fully, like I had just gotten rid of so much programming, whatever stuff was like stuck in my body, like it was gone, and just made space for all of this, pleasure and sensation and stuff to just arise pretty much. And one of the first things that happened like really early on, I think I was maybe only like a couple months pregnant or something like that. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like my breast just started to throb with pleasure. I was like, just unprovoked, like I wasn't touching them, like nobody was touching them. And they just started on their own accord, just started to feel pleasurable as if somebody were touching them. And there were times where I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, like out of sleep, and they would be full of pleasure. So then I would have to do the breast massage pretty much. And that's when I was like, okay. Like this feels amazing. I'm going to try this nipple-gasm thing and see what happens. Like, so I did, I spent like just tons of dedicated time, massaging them. And like, that really was the name of the game, honestly, was time. I just spent a ton of dedicated time, like the whole breast and then the nipple as well. Like I just focused a long time on the nipple, and I couldn't even like stop. It just felt so amazing to me. Like literally couldn't help it. My breasts wanted to be played with, so I obliged. And they'd already been so, awakened, I guess, that it didn't take like terribly long to actually experience them. And kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier, like I'd never actually before you heard of a nipple-gasm. I definitely heard of pleasure before, but I guess I just wasn't sure if there was any kind of like a, that like over the edge type feeling or expansion, maybe like, G-spot or cervical orgasms. I wasn't sure if it actually got to that level where it felt like a nipple-gasm as opposed to just a lot of pleasure, and yeah, like to me, like in my experience, there is you have a nipple-gasm. Like it just feels like this very, very like, I guess it feels most similar to me in a way, maybe to G-spot. For me, it's very prolonged. Like it's definitely like markedly feels like a super heightened pleasure that lasts for like a long time, but also kind of like can get higher and continue. And then like at that point, this is probably other people's experiences too, but like, you just get so turned on that you just then self-pleasure. And that's what I would do. Then I would just continue the whole self-pleasuring session, but like start with a nipple-gasm,
Our next well-fucked all-star is Sarah.
Well-fucked all-stars.
When I think back on my relationship to my breasts, it was very much I was cohabitating with them. It was like they were a roommate that I liked. And I thought pretty neutrally of. Like, I'm small-chested, but I don't mind. I always thought my breasts were nice enough, but didn't think more of that. Think more of them. And then, around 8 years ago, I had my daughter, and that really transformed my relationship with my breasts to love and appreciation. And I breastfed her for over 7.5 years, like super extended breastfeeding. So much, love and connection and beauty I associated with my breast, nourishing my child. But it was still like platonic, I would say. And then this introduction to breast massage was really mind-blowing to me, because it just, the process allowed me to fall in love with my breasts for the first time, like to really see them and connect with them in such a simple way. And then this incredible massage and daily practice of connection. And I noticed right away that my breasts were like almost saying like, hello. Like they just like perked up instantly within days, because they were, I think, totally unused to this attention, but like totally wanting it and loving it. Kind of, they'd been like pushed to the side of the room my whole life, and then sort of brought out for this very, beautiful, but a utilitarian practice of breastfeeding. And now it's like, no, I just love you for who you are. And then through that practice, I've definitely developed more sensation. And so I can definitely, I feel my pussy waking up when I'm massaging my breasts, and just this incredible connection between my breasts and my vagina through this daily practice of massage. Breastfeeding for as long as I did, I was pretty averse to touching my nipples, just because they were sucked on for so long. And I do have some insecurities about them because of the extended breastfeeding. They're quite pronounced, they've been sucked out into points. But I think just the practice of like starting on the nipples, it just felt really nourishing, and it allowed me to develop a different sensation there that wasn't jarring or associated with sensitive, like the sensitivity I had when my daughter was first born. It's almost like I carried that sensitivity with me for 7 years, and the breast massage has just allowed me to change that, like have different sensitivity in my breast that feels way more pleasurable. And I also wanted to say, like, my husband immediately noticed, he was just like, your breasts are just like perky and shiny and like they're glowing. I mean, he's always loved them, but and it's really changed how he interacts with them when we have sex, because I want him, like they're fair game now. And more than fair game, it's like go there, like, please touch my breasts, please kiss my breasts, please suck my breasts, like, love my breasts. And I think, for me, it's hard to pinpoint exactly the breast, because it feels like the entire journey is so holistic, which is why it feels like it works, in such like a root cause way. Like, I feel like there's no going back once you start on this journey. Like, we're changing neural pathways, as you say, which is just like, that just was an aha moment to me. Like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're changing the rigidity of how our body responds to pleasure and how our body then responds to the world. So I have noticed, but I think the breast massage, it sort of primed me to go deeper into the vagina. I was feeling hesitant about yoni massages and really going deep. And then the breast massage, having that daily practice of breast massage warmed me up for a deeper practice with my vagina, which has then been, hugely transformative as well. And I also have this deep sense of not only the sexual and energetic healing that comes along with the breast massage, but the lymphatic draining. I think on a very deep level, my body is saying, like, you need to move these tissues, and this is so good for your long-term health of your whole body. And it feels, very, very nurturing and nourishing in that way too, which my body, like, that's a turn on for my body, is good health. So it's like, there's that feedback there too. I just sort of smiled, because I know I 100% believe in your work and the power of manifestation. It felt like I felt like I was like just blind on the trail. And so doing this work and understanding that like the portal to alignment with universe is through my vagina, and like how to get there, it's like feels so incredible. It's like there's light on the dark path. Like, not to say it's just, my world's perfect, whatever that means, but to sort of know the mechanism of change versus I've had a life that's been pretty aligned, lots of synchronicity, lots of beautiful like gifts from the universe. They kind of just fell like out of the blue, it seemed like. And now there's this mechanism for really harnessing that power and alignment. Interestingly, Kim, my daughter self-weaned, and it's a very curious, it's not that I didn't want her to be breastfeeding before that, but I don't think it's a coincidence. I think she understood that I was going through this transformation, this self-reclamation, and respected that. I mean, she's old enough, right? She understands that. And I had talked to her. I said, "Oh, I think it's time, Mom. Mom's going to be reclaiming breast. We can just talk about what that looks like in terms of our breastfeeding." And then she just stopped. There's just a lot of synchronicity in that for me. And I don't believe there are coincidences. Really, it's alignment, right? But it seemed, it was fascinating. So that also, I think, it was this time for me to enter into my own relationship with my breasts that was separate from my relationship as a mother. And amazingly, she just she always has, but she just adores my breasts and my body. When I'm doing a breast massage, if she happens to be around, which she isn't always, she's just, like transfixed and mesmerized by the act of like love of these things that she adores. It's beautiful.
And our final well-fucked all-star is Robin.
Well-fucked all-stars.
Welcome, Robin. It's great to have you here.
Well, thanks so much for inviting me, Kim, and I'm excited to be here.
So let's hear all about your journey into becoming a well-fucked woman. And first of all, how old are you?
I am 66.
Mm-hmm. And blooming.
And blooming.
So tell us about your journey.
I have had orgasms from, just breast stimulation throughout my life pretty much, but the breast massage became really important to me. And I was massaging fairly regularly, several times a week, probably 4 or 5 times a week. And then one day I just barely touched my breast and I orgasmed. So it's like, that's amazing. And I've noticed that, when I slack off on breast massage, it's not as noticeable or easy, but it's much easier for me to orgasm just from breast stimulation now than it's ever been. The first time that it happened to me, I woke up in the morning and, during the salon, and I just basically touched my breast, like not intentionally, just kind of touched my breast and orgasmed. And
how did that feel? What did that feel like?
That was, well, first of all, I was pretty surprised, but it felt amazing. I mean, it was a great way to wake up. And it was also like confirmation about all the exercises and the work that you do in this, or I did in the salon, that allowed me to, have experienced that even, and to continue to experience it as I continue to breast massage. The more I breast massage, the easier it is. And how it feels is, the first time, kind of surprising, and it feels amazing. the way that it feels in terms of, comparing it to other orgasms, it's really like for me, a full body orgasm. So those feelings of, a big wave coming over my entire body. It's, it's kind of like the top of your head gets blown off, or my head gets blown off. And physically in my body, it's like everything is alive. As I said, I've never spent so much time with myself sexually ever, in all my life. I didn't know it. And so what that means for me now is like a real connection with myself. I've learned things I never knew. I've felt things I've never felt, like in terms of inside of my vagina. I'd never really gone and explored as much as I have now. So I'm really, I have a whole new idea of what everything is. Before it was just like my vagina. Now it's, this amazing, malleable, strong, and powerful source of energy. And if you are, at a point in your life where I think so many women are, where we've had our families, where so many women are divorced and not really because I have a lot of friends like this. They're not actively sexual with themselves, with anyone. That there is this amazing life. There's this amazing area to explore and to create, I believe, health. Incredible health for yourself, and connection with yourself, connection with others, and to give yourself incredible empowerment and strength, all coming from, your vagina and sexual energy and the moving around of energy. I think that that's something so critical that people in my age group they're just like, they've given up. And I don't see that. I didn't feel that I had given up, but I just didn't feel like, it was a priority for me. Now this is a big priority for me. Like this is something that I will be practicing forever.
In the Well Fucked Woman Salon, I guide you through my full step-by-step breast massage routine to tone, lift, and enlarge the breasts and activate their bliss and orgasmic potential. Plus, you will receive guided visualizations to help you own your radiant breast energy and alchemical powers. All this, plus my full Orgasmopedia on how to have all of the deeper vaginal orgasms for women, including G-spot, cervical, and squirting. The entire salon is designed to help you clear emotional and energetic blockages and to become the radiant, orgasmic, and ecstatic being you were meant to be. The Well Fucked Woman is now open for registration. You can sign up at kimanami.com, look for Sexual Savant Salons, and then click on How to Be a Well Fucked Woman. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe and also leave a review. And send someone else the gift of a healthy libido and an off-the-charts love life by sharing this episode with them. We'll be back next week, and in the meantime, many happy orgasms.